to what our lower school program does, where we're such good students already. Welcome to Bullis School. My name is Tanya Saluski, and I'm the associate head here at Bullis. So excited to be part of this special program, the Acorn Assembly, a long-standing tradition at Bullis in which we welcome our newest students. Get ready for this. The class of 2038. Oh my God. From our longest tenured students, what we call lifers, who are finishing their journey here at Bullis this spring. It is a special program. Get your tissues out. 2 notes of logistics. We have 3 friends who are not here today. Please know that we will honor them as soon as they come back. And then at the end, we're going to have a photo op, so just sit tight. Our teachers and Genta Brandstetter will direct the children with the lifers, and you'll be able to take lots and lots of great photos. So sit back and enjoy.
Today marks the day that Bullis Lifers, seniors who started the Bullis experience in the 2nd grade, honor our youngest Bulldogs. 6 of us from the class of 2026 remained in the senior class. A few years after we arrived, the school added 2 more grades, and we now honor students who enter Bullis as kindergartners. We will honor each kindergartner this morning who will become a lifer when they reach their senior year.
Bullis Lifers will give an acorn to each student called to the stage as a symbol of growth and maturation that occurs between the time they began Bullis and the time they graduate. We hope they keep the acorn throughout their Bullis year, and that perhaps they can pass down the same acorn on when they become seniors. It is my pleasure to introduce the remaining lifers to help with the presentation of the acorns: Simon Rubenstein, Caden Sadin, and Jinho Yoon.
Hi. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Liam Abdow to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Winnie Bloom to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Yusra Bokerwa to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Bryson Cohen to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Tolly Collins to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Charlie Koss to receive an acorn.
It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Nari Crown to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Sebastian Greenwald to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Sophia Halley to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Ella Kryakova to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to announce kindergartner Anika Carland to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Ludovic Lanthia to receive an acorn.
my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Bullis Lifers to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Camila Melendez to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Ashton West to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Assad Wright to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Theo Assad to receive an acorn.
It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Samira Bomana to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Sean Brown to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Olivia Burka to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Laura Cobb to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Maddie Daniels with an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Brooks Drucker with an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Cole Gartgurden to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Cameron Shing to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Hannah Kimmel to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Rose Kagan to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner George Mitsotakis with an acorn.
It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Darius Oubre to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Keon Segel to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Madison Will to receive an acorn. It is my pleasure to introduce kindergartner Lincoln Thrush to receive an acorn.
On On behalf of all current Bullis Lifers, we would like to congratulate the kindergarten class and welcome them to Bullis.